Welcome back to the Heroes Lounge Epic Cup. You're watching the quarterfinals. I'm Karis.
And I am Shadow.
Welcome, welcome. We've got another quarterfinal ready to go for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have Unleashed versus All Blacks in just a moment. Just as a reminder, this is the Heroes Lounge Epic Cup, which is teams from Divisions 4 and 5. These are the quarterfinals. Over on the main channel, twitch.tv/Heroes Lounge, we've also got two other quarterfinals on the go right now. And that's where you'll see the semi-finals after these quarterfinals are done. We'll radio over there for the semi-finals and later the grand final to decide who will be the champion of the Heroes Lounge Epic Cup for Season 13. So, here we are in our second quarterfinal, Unleashed versus All Blacks. What can we expect from these teams, Shadow?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can expect some good Heroes of the Storm. Both of those teams, they came first in their respective division. Unleashed in Division 5, finishing first with 10 matches in absolutely perfect winning record. 10 wins out of 10 matches. Very impressive. Absolutely dominating their division. And of course, All Blacks, you might be familiar with them if you've watched my own casts on my Twitch. I've casted them before. They came first in the Division 4 this season as well with nearly as impressive win record with 9 wins out of 10 matches. So we're going to be having this clash of titan I just mentioned between those two teams, the leaders of their respective divisions, and I am super excited, especially after the matches we saw earlier today and yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some excellent series. It's funny you should mention your casts there, Shadow. I mean, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, that's a very good question, Kari. So recently I rebranded. I used to be Shadow Writer, and on Twitch I used to be known as Last Shadow Writer. But due to popular demand right now, my Twitch username is HotsJesus, and you can find me at twitch.tv/HotsJesus, where I occasionally stream and cast Heroes Lounge games, and more often I do ranked play either on my own or with some friends. Karis, what about you? Do you still stream, or are you taking a bit of a break?
I still stream on and off, not very much, but you can find me at twitch.tv/HotsKaris. But I mostly stream on Heroes Lounge, which I think you know how to find Heroes Lounge already if you're watching this. So we should be, definitely go and check Shadow out. That should be interesting. Back to Unleashed versus All Blacks, though. We've got some map bans in.
We've got map bans, and I want to talk about the map bans as well. But All Blacks, from what I know about them, they're filthy tryharders, as L-Doc has described his own team. So I would expect to see some very carefully thought out banning sequences, both in draft and outside of the game. So let's talk about a little bit about the man bans and our map pick, which of course is Infernal Shrine.
Yeah, so we can see that Unleashed banned Alterac Pass and Braxis Holdout, and All Blacks banned Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. So definitely alphabetical style bans here, with A and B from Unleashed and TNT from All Blacks. But going to Infernal Shrines, the most popular Heroes Lounge map for game number 1. Yeah, Infernal Shrines, nothing too surprising there, is there, Shadow?
No, I mean, we've seen it time and time and again, and there's a good reason why we do so. It's hard to surprise anyone on it. The objective is rather predictable, but there's also decent amount of comeback mechanics in the later stages of the game. It's not quite as predictable as Volskaya Foundry, which tends to be very, once you win the first objective, you then win the second, and when you win the second, you win the third, and then you win the fourth, just like we saw. But regardless, we head on to Infernal Shrines. All Blacks versus Unleashed.
Indeed, we do. So, yes, as you were saying here, a team from Division 4 versus a team from Division 5. So, does that mean that the Division 4 is naturally the favourites here?
I mean, generally I would say that Unleashed are the underdog in the series. Of course, I'm slightly biased toward All Blacks because I'm familiar with them. But the thing is, Unleashed have a very impressive 10 wins out of 10 matches, so I don't think they are to be taken lightly.
No, absolutely not. And they were dominant in the Division 5 stage, as you said, and of course they've done well to get here into the Epic Cup playoffs as well. So we're not expecting a simple win for any team, to be honest, because both of these teams are very strong. Unleashed, by the way, also won all their matches in the group stage, some of which were against Division 4 teams. So Unleashed definitely looking very dangerous so far. Joanna banned here by them, though.
Yeah, no big surprise. Joanna, if there's one map that she is like disgustingly strong, it's probably Infernal Shrines, because as always, the value on the 4-man rotation is great, but also the objective. And she gets a lot of damage onto that objective with a W, and some of the talents that she has access to, of course, become really, really great when you can land that W repetitively on the Shrine Guardians, I believe is what they're called. Now, what we're not going to see for our team in blue is Chromie or Greymane banned out by All Blacks here. Two very meta bans, I want to say. We're moving away a little bit from comfortable bans for enemy heroes and more into the meta style.
Yeah, and I think that's not too surprising here to get those kind of priority meta bans in with the Chromie and the Greymane. Those are some of the most popular heroes in Heroes Lounge as well, Joanna as well, and Anna as though to round it off in some of the most common there. So what do we get for first pick here? That's the question. We've still got that Gazlo and the Diva open.
Yeah, Cassia and Gazlo are open, so there is a healthy choice there. But it is ETC instead. I'm excited. I want to see mosh pits, guys. Come on, let's go. Mosh pits.
Yeah, we definitely saw some mosh pits yesterday, that's for sure. And they were so important in the Rare Cup, actually. The single ability mosh pit sort of decided quite a few Rare Cup games yesterday, for those of you who watched the Rare Cup. But there are still ways to deal with that ETC. And I think there's still quite a few tanks open as well. But they are going for that Cassia and the Sonya, interestingly, from Araku for Unleashed.
Yeah, if there's any map that Sonya makes a lot of sense to be picked early, it's Infernal Shrines. Of course, the extra healing she gets from her Whirlwind around the objective is quite good to have. You could even say it's a healthy thing to have. Of course, not that great for dealing with a mosh pit unless you medallion and then leap into the mosh pit like a actual mad lad.
I respect that. Well, medallions have opened up a new range of avenues to interrupt mosh pit, and that has been a factor in controlling that in some of the matches we've seen. So Deckard picked up. I mean, we talked about the Deckard a lot in the Rare Cup yesterday, because in the Rare divisions, Deckard is like one of the strongest healers in terms of win rate. How does he do in the Epic Cup? Do you know? Is he still considered that strong?
Yeah, I'll touch on that in a second. I really like the Rel pick adaptation from All Blacks after they saw the Sonyas, so that it can't be banned away in the next phase. The Deckard himself, now Deckard is interesting. I've played a decent amount of Deckard and I've explored most of his options, and he does have very versatile talent tree. He can spec into almost anything. He can provide both sustain heal. He has access to shields, he has access to team buffs for attack, he has access to even crowd control with level 10 and 16. So very versatile healer to have. And of course, it is one less good option for Unleashed here in terms of having tools to deal with the mosh pit. As we saw yesterday, how good Stay Above and Listen can be in interrupting a mosh pit and setting up counter kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a Lucio and a Hanzo picked up in response to that from Unleashed. Lucio, not so good at dealing with ET, but we have seen Lucio booping away some mosh pits in some of our recent games as well. So that could be a way to do that. But I think he has to take the larger range upgrade on the boop in order to do that. Or to medallion in and do it like a mad lad, as you were saying. As Hanzo also there. Kael'thas and Tychus to round off that draft from All Blacks. Nice little double DPS pickup there. I think that's nothing too surprising. Kael'thas so strong on the objective here, and Tychus good at punishing some frontliners, but again might be slightly vulnerable to some of the blinds that we all see from Cassia.
Yeah, I mean the Cassia is definitely not ideal for the Tychus, but I don't think you'll be overly bothered with it. The Muradin is will have to be careful, especially when he has Avatar up, that he doesn't get melted by Tychus. It will be a real danger for him, especially if he overstays in the team fights. It's an interesting draft from both teams. Very solid in most ways, but they also have some quirky additions like the Lucio and the that dike us into a blind.
Yeah. So we'll see. Um, we'll have to see how they play it, of course. But I think Muradin does have a bit of control for Tychus as well, because let's say he goes reverb as well. It's 50% attack speed slow. That also affects the minigun, which means effectively that HP
It's a
melting effect of
minigun.
minigun is halved, which is, you know, that's not insubstantial.
That's just a gun at this point.
Yeah. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Microgun.
Yeah, microgun. There we go.
But yeah, no, I mean, so that is a way that Muradin will try to deal with that, is with the reverb. And of course, that gives him the cooldown reduction for his heroic as well. So Muradin may be less afraid than some tanks, but you're right, the Avatar does depend just on on big HP numbers for survivability. And of course, the minigun might make short work of that, but it all comes down ultimately to execution. So let's go into game number 1 in our second quarterfinal of the day. And on the left, in blue, it is, of course, Unleashed with Bonbon on Lucio, Grego there on the Hanzo. We have Iskor on the Cassia, Ariku on Sonya, and Arabano on the Muradin.
And give it up in the right. Dressed in red but secretly wearing all black. It's team captain L-Dog picking up that Decker. Shadow Surge on Dykes, for whom I have deep respect for having Shadow in the name. Dark Pyrox on the ETC. Colonel Lord on Keltas. And Benny the Master on the E-Rail there.
Yeah, and straight away those level 1 talents are in with the Globes on the Kael'thas. Not too surprising. Globes on ETC. Also not too surprising.
Yeah, going crazy convection.
Yeah. Decker going for the Sapphire. What do you think about the Sapphire there, pick up at level 1?
Well, usually I tend to do Sapphire when I'm not planning on doing Ruby on level 4 because my team doesn't have enough dive to make it valuable. And in this case, I would be slightly surprised if Decker goes for Ruby. Of course, if he ends up going for the second gem, then we could expect to see Emerald and Perfect Gems on level 20, but that's not a very it's not a very common play. In the meantime, ETC getting stuck a little bit between the rotations as both teams make their own ways towards their siege camps.
Yeah, both teams getting those camps early as possible, because the sooner you get it, the sooner the cooldown happens. So nice little pickups from them so far.
Indeed. And they both get it done at about the same time now. Dark Pyrox still getting a little bit spanked in the bottom lane, but he's actually getting spanked. It's Muradin, a lot of damage coming through on him. Falls down 35 HP, and first blood is picked up by Tychus. Shadow Surge confirming that kill and bringing his team half a level ahead.
Yeah, it's actually exactly what you were talking about, Shadow, is that the danger to Muradin if he gets CC'd is that the minigun just absolutely melts him. And he doesn't even have that level 4 reverb yet to provide some protection. So definitely it's something that they've got to be careful about on the side of Unleashed.
Indeed, Cassie has to stay on the bottom lane to clear that camp, and this means there is a 4v4 on mid, of course, but Irel has open field to play around on top lane. Of course, she could join her team earlier than Cassia.
Yeah, but I think they're not going to bring the solo laners down just yet. It looks like they're going to continue having a 4v4 contest there. So Muradin has not gone for the reverb. That's surprising to me, because just because of the minigun. Literally for nothing else, I would be taking the reverb. But going for the sledgehammer now, that does get his Stormbolt stacks up and running faster, but also means that he can use the sledgehammer for clearing structures, for clearing objective, for clearing minions. And so it may be used, for example, if the enemy team takes a Punisher, clear that Punisher faster. Or if the enemy team, if you've won a Punisher, push with it when you, because you can use it on towers, on forts as well. And it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's definitely like you say, it's an interesting choice. It's not a full Q build, as of course he went for third win on level 1, but regardless, the first Punisher objective is up for contest on top side, and all blacks, they've already taken the Bruiser camp, which is going to give them a a very comfortable push on that top lane, helping them control the shrine. But there are 15 Guardians behind, which of course they're going to catch up quite quickly with Kyotas and Tychus on that point. In the meantime, Joanna once again in trouble. The gravity lapse from Kyotas is there. Excuse me, that was Muradin, not Joanna, but he falls down and he seems to be having trouble staying alive.
Yeah, that is going to be a recurring problem for Muradin, I suspect, because what does he do against that chain CC? Because Lucio doesn't have a cleanse, so maybe Lucio will heroic, will use Sound Barrier level 10 to protect against it, and buy enough time for Muradin to press Avatar. But okay, but that's two big resources just used to deal with basic abilities from their opponents. So that's gonna be something that they have to watch out for. And I mentioned the reverb, but actually that wouldn't have helped there because Muradin's dying in the CC before he can even press the reverb. So not going to be an easy game for Arabano on the Muradin by any stretch. There's the gravity lapse already, and look, half of Muradin's health is gone. He now can't tank this objective in the slightest until he's tapped and used his third wind to get a bit healthy, which he is now doing. But by the way, it is Ruby from Deckard.
It is Ruby from Deckard, and no Emerald on level 7, so a very interesting hybrid build from Deckard. I might have to message him after this game and talk a little bit about talents, because he might be onto something that I don't know about. If there's some secret reasons behind the talents he's picking, I need to know the secret. In the meantime, there seems to be a camp attempt by All Blacks on the bottom side of the map, but even talents right now in the blue team outgroup this fight, so they can invade and take Kyotas in the top lane. Soaking.
Yep, nice little invade here from Unleashed, getting themselves back into this game. And of course, this is a stun as well onto Urel, but Benny jumps out, still a bit alive.
Does he?
No! Look at the damage. Absolutely insane damage here from Unleashed.
A very good follow-up from Hanzo and Cassio over there, confirming that kill onto Urel. I mean, of course, ultimately it was the Sonny who confirmed the kill, but it was a team effort very much. So bringing the kill counter finally up to a number different than 0 for Unleashed, and they seem to finally be finding some traction in game number 1.
Yeah, they're getting themselves back into this game, and they are actually neck and neck on experience despite having lost that first objective and being 1 kill down. But there's going to be a fight, I suspect, over this bottom camp as the teams edge towards it. Both teams 4v4 here, and Sonya and Irel both thinking of rotating down. Sonya's on the way, in fact, Irel's gone to soak instead. Now ETC's under pressure. It's not mirrored, and this time it's ETC, and Sonya's with the flank, catches onto Tychus. Shadow Surge falls down to 100 HP and hides behind the gate. But of course, the space was created, the camp was picked up by Unleashed.
Yep, very quick rotation there from Sonya, securing ultimately that camp in a 5 versus 4 fashion. All Blacks really didn't have a chance to contest that, but Heroics are in now, and this is going to be a very different game with Moshpit and Stay a While and Listen coming through. Of course, we got Dragon Arrow and Leap as a counter to that.
Yeah, and of course, the Sound Barrier and the Avatar for the survivability. It's going to be interesting to see what the Ball Lightning achieves as well on some of these objective fights where things can be a bit clumped up. So both teams kind of want their opponents to clump up. Here comes the Hanzo Arrow onto 5 members with the leap to follow onto Eldog. Eldog's falling down, but he tries to get the sleep out, but can't do enough. The Mosh Pit's there, catches onto 2. Muradin knocked in, but the Sound Barrier is there, so Muradin's still alive with the help of his Avatar, and the Sound Barrier gets the stun onto Tigers. Is it going to be another kill? Yes, it is. It's 2 for 1 so far in favor of Unleashed.
Very nice cleanse from Muradin there, allowing the retreat, ignoring the power slide from Tychus, and that was that would have been a Stay a While and Listen to 1 for the books, as they say, if had it actually gone through. But very nice focus there onto Deckard Kane, denying him that possibility, and overall great execution and of the whole team fight. But shout out goes to Gregor for that massive Dragon Arrow that he hit 4-man stun, I think, there.
Yeah, absolutely. And still, I mean, the thing is, that was still only a 1 kill advantage in that fight for Unleashed, despite that almost flawless Hanzo Arrow engage with the leap to follow. So I think if All Blacks get the initiative in these engages, then they may take the edge in these fights. Now ETC slides in potentially. He has the Mosh Pit. No, he doesn't have the Mosh Pit available because he was using that last fight, so that's still on cooldown. Benny's trying to flank and create a nuisance, but Sonya's there, so the solo laners are having their own solo lane battles in the corner.
Yeah. That bush over there became a solo lane for a little bit, but currently it's 30, almost 30 Giant Guardians versus 15. The red team knows they have to do something. The sleep comes through, Karis. What is happening?
Yeah, well, they're diving in onto the backline, and Colonel Lord on the Kelpers gets down to 20 HP, but it's Sonya who falls. Deckard Cain, though, does fall in response. And random scatter hits onto Kelpers. I don't think he was even trying for that, but Kelpers was on so low HP that just the threat of the scatter just touched him down to 0, and he falls. Beautiful little fight there again from Unleashed. They're showing, I think when Unleashed are getting the initiation, they seem to have the edge in these fights. The stay a while and listen was not quite enough because most of the team on the side of Unleashed had retreated far enough away that they weren't affected by it. And Sonya had leaped past it and was just threatening Kale first. And ETC didn't know whether to peel or to engage. And that's why Kale first ultimately fell.
Yeah, but whilst they got the Punisher, they had to forego a lot of pressure in the top lane, and a Bruiser camp that had been captured earlier by All Blacks nearly got the fort structure over there. So really, that was just a kill advantage there for Unleashed, which of course is not to be underestimated, as they're now a healthy dose of experience ahead of their opponents.
Yeah, I think the kills there in terms of the experience is the bigger factor for them. In fact, if we take a look at the experience numbers here, you'll see that most of that XP advantage is actually coming from the heroes. Very close on mercenaries, very close on minions, identical on structures and passive. So it's just the hero kill difference really that's given the edge in XP lead to Unleashed.
Meanwhile, Benny survived a gank in the top. Leap was expanded in that, so Sonya for the time being will not have the ability to follow up on a Hanzo engagement. So I would expect to see Unleashed not looking for a major team fight in the next 30 seconds or so, waiting for that leap to come off cooldown. So there is a very narrow window of opportunity here for All Blacks if they wanted to look for something. And indeed, they're looking for that Sonya on top. She does not have leap to escape. Power side is there. Areku, what a brilliant use of Mystical Spear level 13, the talent, making the spear always pull.
Yeah, brilliant performance there from Sonya to use that Mystical Spear, as you say, to get through the terrain and escape from that attempted gank. And that's exactly what you like to see from your solo laner.
Yeah, true, exactly. That's what you want from the solo lane, not dying and just soaking. That's their job. But the fort goes down, so as the game goes on, at least All Black will not be getting further down in passive experience than they already currently are. But Benny, once again, in a bit of a deep spot. Sonya engages onto him, but the gravity lap comes through on Cassian. Oh my god, does she ever get melted? 1 kill, lightningly fast, picked up by the red team.
Beautifully done there by All Blacks. That's exactly what they showed. That was the promise they showed at the start of this game, is that potential to lock down a target and blow them up. And here they've resurrected that. Again, it's all about who's getting the engage in these fights. Oh, that's a CC onto Miridan. He's got to be careful. He's used the avatars. He will probably live for now. Although he does get rooted by the Deckard. Again, got to be cautious, because we've seen that they can melt that. Now, of course, Tychus is an Odin form, so it doesn't have that minigun. But that will allow them to siege up mid. And by the way, having already done that top fort, that's where the next shrine is. So there will be a fountain advantage for the red team for that next objective.
They even have the relative safety of half a wall. I mean, it's fallen down a bit in HP due to that Bruiser camp pressure, but ETC is there in time to defend. Now, in the meantime, there's a very hard invade here by the blue team, looking for a position around the Bruiser camp. Benny sniffs it out. He's safe as houses for the time being, as you say, Karis.
Yeah, he's safe as houses, as I would say. I mean, I don't think the Unleashed were ever interested in actually taking that fight. The only reason they walked in was just to threaten the red team and force them to be slow in taking their Bruiser camp. But ultimately, they've got such good camp clear on the side of the red team that they took it pretty quickly anyway. And so nothing really was gained. But now, Irel jumps in. There's the stun onto ETC. They want to take down ETC, but he slides in, gets the mosh pit onto Hanzo, who's immediately melted. Stay a while and listen. Control 3 members. Leaves Irel on her own. Miridan tries to jump out here.
Yep, and he will get out for the time being, but he's so low in HP that he can't actually influence the team fight anymore. And this is the cue for Unleashed to actually retreat and completely disengage. Even after they lost the Hanzo, they stuck around, hoping to find a counter kill. Not possible. Brilliant crowd control chains executed onto the Hanzo to get rid of the main damage dealer there. And of course, Stella and listen, very impactful. But Benny in trouble on the mid. His jump gets interrupted by Bonbon on that Lucio. Ardent Defender comes through, but doesn't get an amazing value ETC there, however, to save Benny for the time being. And I'm sure Benny right now loves ETC.
Yep, they are. There's some words of thanks may have been exchanged, but that did buy time, actually, for Hanzo to respawn. He's not actually here at the fight yet, but look at this engage from Muradin. Jumps in looking for trouble, even though Hanzo's not there yet, because they know that Irel's not there, and they need to buy space and time for this objective. Now, ETC with the flank doesn't have Mosh Pit for another 10 seconds. Is this the time? Then comes ETC with a slide, catches onto Lucio, who's in a big barrel of trouble. Bonbon goes straight down. Maybe they get to the ETC in response, but the Mosh Pit is there. The ball finishes him off. Now they're looking for this 1-for-1, but no, it's Hanzo who gets picked off next, just as he arrives, in fact. Muradin, though, seemingly unkillable here in this backline, creating space. Stay a while and listen, doesn't catch on to anyone. Can they start to punish the Decade? I don't know if they can, Shadow.
Yeah, I don't think they will be able to. Benny staying alive somehow through all this without Arcing Defender, and of course, without the Lucio, the longer this fight goes on, the more sustain All Blacks have, and we see the blue health bar so low all the way around. Sonya falls in the back. Arabano is all but dead, of course. They managed to get the objective there, but it's at what cost? It's a hollow victory. It's a Pyrrhic. Is it Pyrrhic victory? Is that the saying?
Yeah. It is indeed, because they, as you say, they perhaps lost more than they gained, having lost 3 heroes for that. And look at the XP lead that's been given now over to All Blacks because of that, and that's as they're getting closer and closer to 20. So immediately we see Unleashed go to try and prioritize that bot lane. Now Irel doesn't have Absorb for 15 seconds. Is there going to be a gank here? No, because E-Score on the Cassia is going instead for the camp. So they will just back off, let Irel live, and try and steal away this siege camp for a bit of XP.
Putting some good damage onto the Muradin. Irel flexing her damage there with the help of some crowd control from ETC, but now is the time where they need to back off while they wait for the actual damage dealers to join them.
Yeah, and Muradin will be third winded straight up to full health in just a second. So we are level 19 versus level 18, 15 minutes into this second quarterfinal, first map between Unleashed and All Blacks. And it's very, very close so far, Shadow.
Yeah, it's been a lot of back and forth action. Ultimately, All Blacks have had more control over the team fights with the control tools that they've got, of course, Mosh Pit and Stay a While and Listen. And that secured them a 3 kills advantage. But this could change in a snap of a moment. Just one bad position, just one team fight that goes wrong, and suddenly it could be Team Unleashed knocking on the front door of your keeps and potentially even your core.
Yeah, but I think because they're level 20, Unleashed are just going to try and let All Blacks get a fort and trade maybe. But actually, All Blacks might be thinking of rotating up here and looking for that flank, because that level 20 window is opening very, very soon. And I think All Blacks want this, but they're trying to wait for the 20 but converge at the same time. 20 is now in for them, so immediately those talents are about to get picked up. They haven't actually picked them up yet. In comes the Stay a While. Kelvis has got his Flame Strike, but Muradin gets absolutely melted here. That's what we were talking about earlier. Now they will want to chase. They do have that 20. Can Cassie get out? She's a cheeky mount here from E-Score. Will be able to get out, but Irel with a jump and the slow. They're starting to chase, and ETC will be on the way next, but he's got again with the mount. Keep running. Irel and Cassie are both super mobile heroes in terms of crossing the map. Chaos on the way down, but Sonya eventually arrives, and E-Score on the Cassia does get to the fort. And crucially, because they were chasing, that bought a lot of time here for the blue team.
Yep, that Stay a While and Listen from Deckard on top lane was like a stone wall for the counter engage from the blue team, ultimately preventing any counter pick possibilities after that Muradin had gone down. And with that camp pushing the top lane, of course, All Blacks, they can overextend on the map. They'll get the middle fort, but they don't have the time to go for the bottom one. As you mentioned, Muradin, he's had a lot of time bot for him. He's almost back on the field.
Yeah, now Lucio's weighing up his level 20 options. He has gone for the house party ultimately for the bonus healing, which we didn't see in the last game. We saw the Bossa Nova in the previous series. Actually, this Lucio is built a bit differently from that Lucio. Indeed, this Lucio's gone for what might be called the infinite Q build, which allows Lucio to keep getting shields off the Q. But here goes the fight. Gets the stun onto ETC. He does not have Death Metal. He's gone for Bolt to the Storm, but he bolts to safety. Comes in with a slide, tries to get a Mosh Pit, but it doesn't hit onto anybody. Now they're chasing, looking for Sonya. She does have the shield. Gets the Lucio shield as well. So Sonya's still alive for now. Cassia comes in, hits the Irel, but Irel's got the Absorb. The Odin doing so much damage to Muradin that Muradin's got to step back, but he will have the third win, and that will heal him up but so far nobody's died, Shadow.
No, with our respect, the elderly 3-man silencing sleep. I really expect to see some kills. Unfortunately, the mosh pit, like you said, didn't connect around to anyone, and that I think was the best chance for All Blacks to secure a kill. Ardent Defender, of course, got a lot of value there for Benny as well, preventing him from going down. And 5 ultimates have been expended for 5 ultimates as Odin is about to run out. None of the teams have any big ultimates, but ETC absolutely gets blown up, but it's not over. The counter kills are there. Value from Chaos. Arabanon just barely escaped with his life.
Yeah, ETC died, but at what cost? Because Cassia is now dead. Muradin jumps in though. He's got a lot of damage and he's not afraid. But if he doesn't have Avatar, which he doesn't for another 30 seconds, he may well die here. Uses his jump and gets picked off by Irel with a swipe. Sonya's still in there though, spinning to winning. Catches onto one, maybe going for a second here. Maybe catch onto Irel, who doesn't have the absorb. Lucio's there, couldn't quite provide the heals. Wants to catch onto Benny, does have the movement speed, but will it be enough? Is Lucio versus Irel. And in the meantime, there's a fight going on up here between Hanzo and Kael'thas as well. So actually is ultimately left to a 2v2, incredibly close team fight here, and the space has been created for Unleashed to start their work on this objective, but Irel's coming back.
Yeah, this couldn't have been any closer, and there's still one potion. Benny grabs that one potion. Deckard helping from beyond the grave, of course. Had he had bottomless blast, that one potion would have been a very helpful resource for the red team, but of course he does not have that. But the thing is, it's a very close objective there. 39 against 29. If the blue team can find a kill, they could still make something happen. Unfortunately, they do not, and the Punisher goes over to All Blacks.
I'm slightly surprised that they let Kael'thas walk up there, because they knew, I think, that if Kael'thas got there, it was going to be a free Punisher for the red team, because Kael'thas is so good at clearing those Shrine Guardians. And I almost would have expected to see Lucio and Hanzo go hunting there, because I think Irel would have found it difficult to control both of them running around looking for Kael'thas, and Colonel Lord might have fallen if that had happened, and they did, because of course they didn't have a healer. But
bit of a controversial decision here for All Blacks, foregoing the push with the Immortal and picking up a camp on mid. I guess they will get the bottom fort, but it is not an open mid lane whatsoever. There's no opportunity for them to get a keep anytime soon.
No, yeah, I think both teams playing more cautiously there, not wanting to blunder the first game here against their opponents, because it's so close between this Division 4 and Division 5 team. It's so neck and neck for most of this game. 13 kills to 9 now, level 22 to 21, and often we've seen one team win the fight and then the other team win the objective, or vice versa. But it's everything to play for here at minute 21 and a half.
Yep, Unleashed looking to invade that camp position, at least thinking about it, but the potions from Deckard is such a strong point control there that it ultimately dissuades Unleashed from actually making that move. And of course, there is damage going on to the keepers.
Cassia
they didn't have a chance.
Cassia
oh
in
yeah,
the bot
she's
lane.
in a lot of trouble. She gets bleeded in the background, and now Lucio gets caught by the mosh pit. The sleep is there to interrupt the potential interrupt from Murden, but the counter interrupt is there to save Lucio. And what the hell did I just witness, Karis?
I don't even know. Sonya leaps in now. Sonya leaps in. They want to take this fight 4v5, even though Cassia's already dead, because the Hanzo arrow was so spot on in saving literally everybody. It looked like an absolute car crash there, with Cassia having been caught out, Lucio in the mosh pit, Muradin getting caught by the stay a while and listen, and then the Hanzo arrow saved the day yet again. But Sonya might get caught out here because the ETC slides there, and now they're 2 dead, and it's minute 23 here on the way. I don't know if this is defendable even, because the Odin is up and they're 3v5 here, Shadow.
Yeah, Benny doing a great amount of zoning, and of course, like you noted, Shadow Surge without Odin is a very powerful tool for sieging up. There's 12 seconds on the Cassia timer. If Unleashed can create just a little bit of space, they might buy enough time to actually stay in this game. And they are trying to do so, but they're afraid to commit for the time being, Karis, and I don't blame them.
I think they've got to step up a bit more though, because otherwise the too much damage will be done by the time people respawn. Cassia's up now, so it is 4v5. That's what they're hoping for at best, basically. Muradin runs away from that minigun. He's still alive. He'll third wind up, and it looks like All Blacks may not be going for this.
No, they put some damage on the core, but they were ultimately a bit undecisive, chasing after a kill, then switching back towards the core, really waiting for Unleashed to make a major mistake, but in not committing. Unleashed actually persevered, and this is ultimately what they needed, as now Sonya is coming back onto the field, and despite the 23% loss on core, Unleashed is still in the game. This could still go either way.
This is incredibly close here. There's the Bolton slide this time onto Cassia, and the mosh pit to follow, and there's no Hanzo arrow available just yet to interrupt
The
that.
sleep! The sleep is absolutely humongous. Continuing that team fight and absolutely shutting down the rest of Unleashed after Cassia went down due to the mosh pit. If Arrow Battle goes down to attack, he barely survives, but still this is not looking good for Unleashed. Once again, they've lost a team member. They're very low in health bars, and I think this might just be enough to allow All Blacks to go for the core.
Well, I'm not sure just yet, because now Muradin jumps in with his avatar. Look at the damage he's taken from the Tigers. Exactly as you predicted here, Shadow. Muradin's been melted by Shadow Surge, and that means that it's now 5v3. There's an absorb from Irel to keep her alive, and this is the Odin as well. So now they've got a lot of work to do if they can save this core. They've got to start putting damage onto this Odin, because otherwise the Odin is just going to end by itself. I think it's going to be GG, well played, going to All Blacks in game number 1.
Wow, what a game. 24 minutes on Infernal Shrine's neck. In terms of like the two teams being able to reverse sweep their opponents in team fights. Ultimately, of course, All Blacks 17 kills up against 9, showcasing their dominance and the fact that they dominated their Division 4 for a very good reason. They don't crumble under the pressure. They don't make hasty calls. They just persevere.
Yeah, and I really like the little trap they set up at the end there for Cassia in the mid lane with the bolt and the slide and the mosh, and that was basically the beginning of the end. I mean, they almost had secured that with the previous Cassia kill where they put the pressure mid and stuff, but they didn't quite manage to turn it into anything. So ultimately, a really nice little gank and a single target blow up there from All Blacks ultimately managed to win them the game. But, you know, you'd have to say Unleashed, they certainly looked like they had a good number of chances here.
Yeah, I mean, they did. It was a bit unfortunate that all this crowd control that goes on to Cassia, of course, that when she stands still for a little bit, she loses her armor. And Cassia is really one of those heroes that benefits from mobility in a very active way, gaining armor. And of course, Lucio doesn't have a cleanse on level 7. His only option would have been high 5 on level 10. But of course, the barrier was needed to keep some of that AoE blow up from Kel'Thas and preventing it from just ruining everyone's days. So it was a very tough game overall for Unleashed, but they did some good things in there, and I think as long as they don't lose their courage, they can still take us to game number 3.
Yeah, well, we have found out about game number 2, in fact, where we are going to Volskaya Foundry, as picked by the All Blacks. So, as losers of game number 1, Unleashed had the choice of first pick or map pick for game number 2. And they've chosen first pick, which means the battleground here, Volskaya Foundry, has been selected by All Blacks. And
you know what's interesting about Volskaya Foundry, Karis? It's a very, very similar map to what Infernal Shrine looks like. And of course, ultimately, All Blacks had a field day on Infernal Shrines with the zone control of Deckard, Kel'Thas. All of this, it really went a long way to help them control the objective. So they might just be looking at a similar style for their draft on Volskaya Foundry. And you know what I say? Hey, if it works once, do it again.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think we could expect to see a very similar draft coming out from All Blacks. That kind of CC chain looks very nice. On Unleashed, though, Unleashed's idea in game number 1 was quite different, but they also were quite effective with it, and that was kind of to have Sonya running amok in the backline. The Hanzo arrows were pitch perfect as well. I think Cassia struggled a bit more because, as you say, more vulnerable to that CC, and also I think Lucio, although we saw some fantastic escapes from Bonbon on the Lucio, if you know when they were getting CC, Lucio is a hero who's very, very vulnerable to that. So they need to have a couple more answers to CC, and then they can continue to play that style that they played very well, but just less vulnerable to that CC chain of All Blacks. I think that will be the way for them to go forward there. But also the other difference here is that Unleashed have first pick, whereas last time All Blacks had first pick.
Yeah, indeed. It will be up to Unleashed to make some changes in the draft and bring the series around. But on a different note, Karis, I'm looking at the icon synergy between the two teams now in the lobby here, and I see some of the classic portrait synergy in All Blacks with the little white guys. But what I'm more impressed by is this portrait synergy by Unleashed with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of Heroes of the Storm portraits. That's the first time I've seen this, and it looks really cute. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, nice portrait synergy. Casters respect portrait synergy. That's if you want to get
Absolutely.
in-game favor from casters, that's one way to go about it. Let's go into the draft in game number 2. Here we
All
are,
right, so here we are.
Volsky Foundry.
Volsky Foundry. Yep, and we are we're reading each other's mind today, Karis. How we not?
We are indeed. Let's see what you think the first ban will be from Unleashed. Is it going to be ETC?
ETC, I would say ETC 100%. If not the first, then the second ban, but definitely the first banning phase. If not ETC, then the Deckard is a very close second, likely. ETC struggled a little bit early game to find some of the mosh pits. Of course, those mosh pits become invaluable late game when the death cooldown timers are a bit longer.
Yeah. So.
And they're thinking about it.
Yeah, I think they are definitely thinking about it. But so there will be some discussion there about the ETC and the Deckard. I think maybe they will look at Gazlo as well, just because of the map. But I don't think that's really in the style. They've gone for that Deckard, as you said.
Yeah, those day allows and listens are great, and of course, on Volsky Foundry, you could get even more value out of the potion setup. Of course, the Endless Flask build becomes even more valuable if you do decide to go for it. Although Ruby and Sapphire was put off to great effect last game by the Deckard, so no gems this time around, and I'm curious to see what Eldog goes for this time around with the Deckard off the table.
Yeah, it's not clear entirely what they're going to do, because I think the Deckard was quite instrumental in that draft, and there aren't many supports who can provide that level of CC that he can. I think we might see an Anna, for example. But look at the ETC ban as well. Yeah. Great calls there from you, Shadow, about what the bans would be.
Thank you. Well, I guess perhaps I'm immune to the caster curse, at least for today, which is nice for a change, you know. But talking about bans, and of course, we've seen Unleashed target ban some of the specific heroes that were troublesome for them last game. All Blacks not changing anything for their draft so far, banning out the Chromie and the Greymane, but it is a Joanna first pick, which was something that Unleashed banned themselves last time.
Yeah. So I think they obviously value that China quite highly. So they're picking up now so that All Blacks don't get to handle it.
Oh, here's Diana. You're predicting as well. You were on fire, Karis.
With Li Ming as well. That's going to be unpleasant for Unleashed on that objective. Sleep into Li Ming is quite nasty.
Yep.
I suspect we might even see an Anubarak coming out for a main tank on All Blacks. I mean, fun fact, as I said in the Rare Cup yesterday, it's also true in the Epic Cup, Anubarak's the highest win rate tank in both of those divisions. So
wow, okay. Oh, one more chance for the combo. You're such a big believer of the Falling Sword and the live bomb.
I still think they're not going to do it, but
yeah, Bless You is pretty good at shutting down the Li Ming resets. But I mean, at this point, even I would like to see it perform just so I can witness it, you know.
But Falling Sword is nice against the Nana because you can just dive on her, and that may be the way they play this. But the danger is if it depends. I think a lot of it depends on which tank and which offlaner are picked up by All Blacks here. I'm suspecting it might be an Anubarak for kind of CC and just try and identify a target, you know, lock down Anduin with a sleep as well, bang a grenade, bang Li Ming, that person may just be dead. In which case it'll come down to which team engages sharper and more on their own terms. So nothing too shocking so far.
All Blacks, the one tank they wouldn't go for in this case is Mirrodin. Indeed, they opt for that Garrosh, looking for some picks. Now, this fortunately works out for Unleashed in a way, as if there is one ideal healer that you want to have against Garrosh is Anduin, as of course Leap of Fate counteracts the Garrosh mechanic almost perfectly. Of course, the long cooldown is something to deal with if you're Anduin, but Well, hopefully your teammates won't be getting caught off guard on cooldown for Garrosh. So Andon should be able to save his teammates. So when it's an Imperious, some extra damage in the from the solo lane together with a Hanzo. Gregor really liking the Hanzo, and I don't blame him. After last game, we saw Hanzo was very effective at shutting down enemy engages and getting kills as well.
Yeah, and I think the Hanzo was hugely valuable for Unleashed last game, so unsurprised there. And of course, it's a great poke to have against Garrosh. Just keep threatening him. The Tychus, I think, will struggle more against Garrosh, almost ironically, because he's got to be there quite close range. And then if he ever gets put to sleep by Ana or slowed by a Lyric or something, Garrosh might just walk up to him, throw him, bang. And that is going to be the game plan for All Blacks throughout this series. And that's something that Tychus has got to be very careful of.
Yeah, indeed, he'll have to be on the lookout, as he is quite susceptible to that control and disposition. He is quite close range, like you mentioned, Karis. We're heading into the loading screen and we'll soon get into the game on Volskaya Foundry. I don't think there's a betting contest on, but chat, feel free to let us know which team you're favoring. I've got my virtual money, so to speak, on All Blacks, but then again, I'm a bit biased. Karis, what do you think? Who's the favorite here?
I think overall the draft from All Blacks has a very clear idea, and I think they seem to be more clear on what they're going to do. Unleashed, though, have some great individual players on some of those heroes, so it's difficult to call, but my feeling is All Blacks overall, just based on the fact that I think they've got a very solid plan. But, as I always say, it comes down to execution. So let's go into game number 2 in this best of 3 quarterfinal. And on the left in blue, we have Unleashed with Iscorp on the Tychus, Bonbon on the Anduin, Grego on that Hanzo once more, Arabano on the Johanna, and Areku on Imperious.
Going up against, once again, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series, Team All Black with Eldog on the Ana, Benny on the Lyric this time around, Colonel Roll, I butchered that, it's so extremely, it's absurd. Colonel Lord on Li Ming, Dark Pyrox on Garrosh, and Shadow Surge rounding the draft off with Alunara.
Yep, and straight away level 1 talents are in for both of these teams, so we can see the Power Hungry from Li Ming, we can see the Sleep Dart talent here from Ana, and Consume Vitality for Lyric, not going for the Regen Globes talent, Ossian Renewal.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. Ossian Renewal seems to be a very standard choice. Now, I don't get a chance to play Lyric often myself, but the extra cooldown reduction on the Q seems to be quite helpful if you want to double soak, and Benny does seem to be rotating between middle and bottom for the time being.
Yeah, I think the Q talent will be more valuable if he's expecting to fight more.
Okay.
And I think that's their game plan on these shrines. So rather than Ossian Renewal, which he would continuously be getting globes if he was soaking, here I think he's thinking this will give me more healing in the fights. Sense. But I mean, again, they're fairly flexible talents, and I don't think anything's too much of an issue for Lyric at level 1. So both teams going for their siege camps straight away at the 1 minute mark. Get those camps up and running, because the sooner you cap them, the sooner they cool down, as I always say. Shadow Surge capturing the one on the right, and Bonbon on the left.
Yeah, very small lead there for Unleashed on the turret camps, but that kind of a small lead can actually be very important, as when the first objective spawns, if the fight gets prolonged, you will get a chance to capture your turret for a second time in a row. But talking about camps and captures, All Blacks making a very daring attempt on this support camp here.
Yeah, but of course Unleashed have sniffed it out and comes to contest it. Joanna straight away in the point. And look at the damage that Garrosh is taking. So much poke coming out from the Hanzo. But Garrosh does walk away with his life. But Joanna is the one to pick up the camp and indeed the item. Steps forward now just to create a bit of space. And it is, of course, Unleashed who secure that camp.
Turret has been used, however, and it might feel like All Blacks did the camp for their enemies there, and in a sense they did, but I think they were expecting the Garrosh to be able to sneak it away with the disposition ability, and he did manage to throw someone off the point, but unfortunately there was just too many bodies coming onto that circle. So Unleash in the end walk away with a healing camp, expanding a turret. So that's a trade I'll take any day personally.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty happy with that. I think the Joanna's ability with hold your ground to just walk onto the point and hold her ground was quite important. Of course, Benny on the Lyric was keen to soak as well throughout that. So far, fairly neck and neck, but a one item difference. Although, as you say, healing item for turret. Now, Joanna steps up. She has the healing item available, and she may drop it fairly early here because she's falling pretty low. She could take advantage of it. Yes, the healing item used, but it's fairly far forward, so Li Ming might be able to get some poke onto that. But Hanzo going down to that Lunara poison has to step back, and that means he's not in the healing item AoE, and so he's waiting for Anduin to heal him instead. Not quite profiting the blue team here from the healing item as much as they were hoping, I think.
Yep, and both teams now have been have decided to go clear some of their lanes. The more important thing is the blue team still have control over the points, so that percentage is quickly ticking, nearing 50%, and level 7 is in almost for both teams as well. There it goes for all blacks. And it is a Calamity build, okay, so no full orb shenanigans there from Li Ming.
No, yeah, because I think their priority is not really to poke, but it's to get somebody thrown in with Garrosh and then kill them. In fact, Joanna's been thrown out, which means that
Grego
falling pretty low there, and got to be careful because, you know, just one wrong misstep against that Li Ming and you'll just get hit by the orb to the face. Now, the fight is squaring off on this objective. Orb comes out, threatens Joanna. She has the Iron Skin, steps in. Now Garrosh still has the throw available. Who's he going to use it on? He steps in, he throws Tychus into the backline. Again, that's the worry we had for Tychus, but saved by Anduin. But can anyone block the Li Ming shots? No! In fact, they've set up a reset. Li Ming's got 2 kills on the bounce, maybe looking for a third here even. And the blue team suddenly has to run all the way home. And that objective is almost certainly going to go over to all blacks.
Yeah, Benny's zoning away Grego there. He will actually not run away with his life. The conveyor belt almost saving him, but Grego, he might not have went for redemption, but he's just redeemed his team during that skirmish, picking up a kill for his own side. But Protector going over to the red team, and I would expect them to head up towards the top lane looking at that fountain.
Yeah, they are going to head up now with that objective and go put pressure on the top lane. I think the Protector will get the fountain here pretty easily. I don't see it getting any more than that.
Will
will it though? It's run away. I mean, I guess they were a bit concerned because Anna was in the Protector, and we saw earlier in the Rare Cup with the sorry, in the Epic Cup earlier, the people in the Protector at the wrong time can lose a game. But I'm surprised that they didn't go for that objective, because now it's too late.
Down? That's a bit crazy. The Protector's even lower.
Yeah,
shield
now
will go down, but
they took the shield off, but they didn't actually take the health. Now they're looking for a pre-10 engage. Oh, the sleep just stops the Imperious Skewer. May have saved that fight completely. Beautiful sleep there from Eldon and the Anna.
Good timing on the Indomitable from Garrosh as well. Using that to make sure, even in case that sleep had not connected, he was still going to walk out of there uncontested. And with level 10 heroics locked in for all blacks, Nano Boost and Team, Warlord's Challenge, all those zoning twos together with Wave of Force, they can secure that support camp. No chance for Unleash to steal this.
Yeah, now they're going to step up and probably secure the fountain quite easily. Yep. Safest houses, as I would say. Now, it's level 10 versus level 11, so they may look for a fight here on the side of Unleash, but they may instead actually wait for this objective. But Benny in the mid trying to get some soak. I don't think there's any danger to his life either. But look at this Hanzo arrow again. They go in. There's the light bomb onto Joanna. Catches onto Li Ming. She has the healing item. Forced to drop it. But Joanna maybe has come in too deeply looking for this. And nobody can save Joanna. The nano boost used as well onto Li Ming. Looking for more kills. The door's been shut. The door's been shut by Lyric here, Shadow.
Yeah, that Entomb was absolutely huge. And Gunner Lord surviving in there. Despite having Triumvirate on level 4, not getting any HP after reset, he played very aggressively. He was in a lot of trouble quite a few times during that team fight, but ultimately he was never quite punished for his aggressive posturing and ends up carrying that fight and securing quite a few kills. So it's 5 against 1 in a whole level advantage for All Blacks, who seem to be going strong in game number 2. Now, if I were Unleashed right now, I would start getting worried, as of course they need to win this game if they want to stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely, because the winner of this game goes through to the semi-final, but the loser of this series goes out with nothing. So Tiger steps up, puts a bit of damage. Yeah, the problem is now for Unleashed, they don't have level 13 for a long time, and All Blacks have got the 13 now. So it's difficult to know for Unleashed what they should do on the map, because whether they soak or maybe they look for a Lyoric gank actually right now. Araku maybe thinking about slowing Benny, but he just Wraith walks out to safety.
Lyoric, a famously hard hero to gank. As long as he has that E off of cooldown, is near damn impossible to kill. In fact, the sleep lands on Janna, but I doubt that Garrosh wants that throw. I was throwing on Janna, as I've learned the hard way in my old game in ranked play, where I had to play Garrosh. Not a great idea throwing that tank onto your backline. It's a bit of a questionable move, guys.
Well, yes and no, because actually what we saw in that last fight is how easily they were able to kill Joanna when she got split off from her team. I mean, you're right, and often you don't... Oh, hello.
Oh, the counter escape from Imperius.
Yeah, beautiful little escape from Araku. No, yeah, because Joanna, if she goes too deep looking for this Blessed Shield Light Bomb combo, then she may get punished, as we saw possibly in the previous fight. But you're right, on the other hand, they don't want to do it too close. In fact, that's why they're throwing Joanna away right now. But both teams will be pretty happy here. Level 13 versus 14. Oh my days! The poke damage from Li Ming, tearing Hanzo into pieces. And he's just going to have to sit back and heal up.
Yep, it's time for All Blacks to step onto that point and get some percentages of their own, and that's exactly what they've done. They've got the fountain advantage. The sleep has landed on Tychus. There is no opportunity for a follow-up engage. Araku there, and Joanna's zoning for his teammate, but the random orb makes it through in the backline, and Tychus is suddenly low. Lunara gets away by the skin of her teeth, and Benny also does so. The nano boost to Li Ming not being able to find a team, but the thing is, All Blacks, they can just go, tap, and re-engage, and now suddenly they're healthy. Their opponents, even though they had the better trade just a few seconds ago, now suddenly they're in a poor position.
Yeah, well, up this step. Now, Joanna wants to chase onto Lyoric. They want to fight 13 versus 14. Odin's popped, but look how deep Imperius is, and he's got no shield left, and he's just been melted out because this door was shut again by Lyoric, just zoning people out. I love to see this kind of Entomb play from Benny here on the Lyoric. And that's secured themselves another kill, another XP lead, and another healing item.
Yeah, very creative uses of Entomb by Benny. I absolutely love seeing that. And even at the end there, when the team fight was almost over, and I think it was Joanna retreating past the support camp, and in between the Entomb, Li Ming read the situation correctly and knew the only path Joanna had available for her to take, and just used her orb to bulk some extra damage. They are all very well coordinated play there between members of All Blacks. Now, of course, they don't quite have 16 just yet. So if they want to fight for this point, which I presume they do, they want to do that after 16. Lyoric soaking middle lane.
Yeah, and they are going to do that just now. And they are going to get the 16 in just a few seconds, and that's the point when Unleashed surely will just have to give this objective. But Joanna is in pretty deep here. There's the light bomb, catches onto Garrosh, but he's got the unstoppable, throws Joanna into the fort, and now it's going to be an absolute car crash here for the blue team. The Entomb, absolutely savage with the taunt to follow. They might even lose the item as well. Tychus does just about manage to drop the item before he dies, but now Imperius is going to be caught as well. The sleep's there to finish the job. It's 3 kills for nothing. An absolute massacre here coming out by All Blacks.
Yeah, this went wrong for Unleashed on so many levels and so quickly. First, the Dragon Arrow was near them perfect, but it just missed and went over to NA. So look out for that arrow coming over there. And of course, then next there was the throw behind the gate by Garrosh. Then Lunara got away by 1v4ing the blue team just with her ultimate, just leaping out, in and out. And then the Entomb hit as if that wasn't enough, catching 3 people. Only 1 Leap of Fate was available. Grego saved by the Leap of Fate, but now not able to withstand the damage from Li Ming, and Lunara falls down in a missed position on mid lane. So this is a very good opportunity for All Blacks to push here, Karis.
Yeah, they're going to start pushing here this top keep with this protector. They've chosen to back off because Tychus, of course, does have the bigger they are, so he does melt the Protector pretty quickly, but still, it's
But is that Protector just a distraction? Look at bottom.
yeah, they're going to get the bot fort because of that. Of course, that is where the next objective fight is going to take place. So far, a 10 kill to 1 lead in favor of All Blacks. They're looking very confident here in this game number 2, and they want to go all the way to the semi-final, maybe even to the finals, which we can catch later on Twitch.tv/Heroes Lounge. Now, Protector still alive, looking to put pressure on this mid keep with this 3-level advantage, Shadow.
Yeah, the only thing All Blacks need to be careful of here is not overstaying, as 16 is coming closer and closer for All Blacks, and of course all their 5 members are up. Joanna being able to soak safely with the Iron Skin there. Oh, is it safe enough? The Entomb is there. The damage follow-up from Li Ming on Lunara on point, and that's one dead Crusader, which is my favorite type of Crusader.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a keep for sure. I think the Unleashed have just got to give this keep right now. I don't know really. I don't think they should be even here flirting with the red team, because one misstep and Garrosh will catch them, and then that'll be game. But they haven't. I think the keep's definitely dead. So I think they could have got some soak in the meantime, maybe. But still, they're just trying to buy themselves some time for Joanna to respawn and look for a fight. But it's still, even though it'll be even talents, Shadow, it's going to be 3 levels down, and that. Yeah, there's no talent difference, but it's going to be a massive difference. You know, it's 12% bonus in terms of HP, 12% bonus in terms of damage. That makes it very hard to secure kills. And Li Ming, of course, will find it very easy to start one-shotting people, reset, bang, 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 with the help of the nano boost.
Exactly. After that mistake from Joanna getting caught on top lane, it's very hard now for Unleashed to play the long game. They've got a Hail Mary opportunity here at that turret, invading it before level 20. It's a fight they need to take, and All Blacks recognize that they're not ready to commit for that turret without 20. They don't need to, like, screw the turret. We'll just wait. We'll get 20. We'll give you the turret. Like, you can have it. As far as we're concerned, it's, you know, it's your turret.
Yeah, they're happy to give up a turret to get 20. Maybe they can catch Leoric. That could be absolutely crucial if they can. But no, once again, Wraith walk to safety. Now they've got to run. They've got to run before Garrosh arrives, because Joanna's going to get absolutely destroyed. There's the light bomb, but she wants to escape. She says, no, I don't want to go in here down 4 levels and a talent. That's not the time for me to go in. And runs away.
Miscommunication there, or I think for Unleashed, Andrew not realizing that Joanna was hard bent on retreating, and now middle keep is in a lot of danger with level 20 on the board. Dragon Arrow comes through, stuns Garrosh and Nana, but that's not exactly a great opportunity. Shadow Surge falling very low, but Anna saves him. Massive taunt coming from Dark Arrows. In the meantime, the Silence and Timid, the backline is disrupting people. I don't think anyone is going to die in that fight, and I think ultimately that was good for Unleashed, as they forced some items out.
Yeah, they bought some time, and yeah, yes, the keep's still going down, but that was going down anyway. The challenge they have now is that massive wave at the top. That's 4 Katas and a camp marching onto that core. They need to clear that sharpish. Joanna does have the wave clear, but she's choosing to go to the mid to put pressure and try and help Hanzo out, who's just trying to create space, but he's not going to be able to create enough space to stop himself dying from Lunara and Li Ming. Hanzo goes down. That resets Li Ming. She immediately puts out a volley and scares Imperius off, and the catapults have been cleared. Yes, the core is okay, but only if they can hold the heroes at bay, and when that Odin ends, we may see All Blacks creeping in.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate there. Anduin just a bit too late to save the Hanzo with his Q, as of course Flash Q is quite slow. Shadow Surge, however, goes down. The Entomb is massive, but is it enough? Benny falling very low, and I think Unleashed might very well hold this situation here. They will manage to do so. Picking a counter kill, looking for more, finding it as well. Very, very pivotal moment in the game. Unleashed finally finding some kills and buying the time they so desperately need to stay in this game and ultimately in this series.
Yep, that's exactly what they needed. I like the calmness there of Unleashed in staying in the core, using the Odin to their advantage. I mean, they've still got to be careful because they're still down 2 levels and it's ready talent, as Imperius nearly gets one shot by Li Ming there. And I think the time to fight now, though, is right now, because they're 5v3. This is the moment when if they can find the Blessed Shield here onto Li Ming or something. Obviously, if they throw the Blessed Shield, she's immediately going to teleport. So that's why Arabano is holding it. Also, because it's on cooldown, that could be a factor.
Yeah, and Benny, in the meantime, holding that point for as long as it's good, 44% on that objective. Not something to be taken lightly. It's especially if you had 2 people dead. It's you know, something that you can do on the map, it's very good if you get a chance to do it. And of course, Benny taking full opportunity, taking the full advantage of that opportunity. Now, the red team are just doing a soft camp on top to put some pressure, and they're looking to move on towards the bottom lane to get control of that objective. I would assume very shortly. Of course, they can afford to get the support camp. They've got the time they need to.
For me, I think the Unleashed needs to be really careful about this top lane because there's 2 catapults already there. Tigers has gone back to deal with it, but that means they're split, and they can't be splitting right now. They've got to be staying safe because it's so easy for Garrosh or Leoric to find an entomb or a throw. Look where Tigers is. He's running straight at him. I think, the medallion! The medallion from Tigers just about keeps the Garrosh from throwing him, and the minion gets thrown instead. So just now, I mean, look how desperately the blue team ran. They left their turret behind at their camp.
Yeah, they had to leave a turret behind.
Because they thought they were about to lose the game on the spot. So fair enough, they dropped everything and ran. It's it's like a fire alarm. It's don't go and pick up your possessions. Get straight out of the building, and they did exactly that. But they now have to get urgently to this bottom objective, and they still got to clear this top. By the way, Tigers and Imperius desperately trying, but I don't know why they're splitting because if they clear as 5 and they can move as 5, but if they send 2 people to bot, there's no point Joanna being here staring at Leoric. I mean, she's not in any danger right now. Or maybe she is. The wave of force. I've spoken too soon. The Iron Skin already used. Thrown in. Is she going to live? She's using the turret, but she's died. I can't believe how much I've cursed her. I can't believe Gregor's going to be next. It's 2 kills. It might even be game just because I called that she wasn't in any danger.
That was so wrong so quick. I was just going to say that perhaps Unleashed were feeling the pressure there with that timer ticking on the objective. Of course, Leoric did get half of it earlier, and now as it was nearing 100%, perhaps Unleashed felt very pressured not to let this through, as of course that would have been very dangerous for them. Now Iscorp is the next casualty. No, he is not. He actually survives with the help of Anduin, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The core is wide open. There is a Punisher picked up. It's a 5 versus 3, even though the 2 members of Unleashed will be respawning soon. I don't think this is defendable, Karis. Call me pessimistic, but I don't think it is.
I'm not sure either. It all depends on whether Tigers can get free reign to hit this Protector. Perhaps to the Odin now. I would have liked to see him use the minigun first just to get that on cooldown and then use the Odin, but never mind. This is fine. This is still good damage onto this Protector. But look, the healing items there for the red team. The Odin nicely sidesteps the Entomb, so no Entomb available. But look how much damage it's taking to the Li Ming. Uses the light bomb just to get a bit of shield on it, but look how much damage the Protector's doing. It's going to be GG, well played. It's going to be All Blacks winning 2-0, going through to the second semi-final later today.
Through and through, All Blacks showing integrity and very calm strategy. Even at the end, they're not getting overzealous and just calmly figuring out, hey, we have a healing item. We can put that down, then we don't need to worry about the healer being in the Protector. Then we have all this damage to spend on the core. And indeed, they confirmed the game and the series in a very, very safe fashion. I'm excited to see if All Blacks manage to win this cup, as they seem very, very strong currently.
Yeah, I think they looked really strong there. I mean, the icing on the cake there, of course, was that repulsion to bring in Joanna when I just said she was safe. I mean, I do stand by what I said before that, which was there was no need for Joanna to be there staring at them. And they could have just cleared as 5. You clear faster as 5, and you move safer as 5. That late in the game, there was no point. But still, I don't think they anticipated how good that repulsion would be from the Li Ming, bringing Joanna into the range of the Garrosh, and then that was kind of the beginning of the end. But really, All Blacks showed dominance throughout this game number 2 here. A lot less close, in fact, than game number 1. All Blacks looked really really strong throughout this game number 2, and it will be interesting to see them in the semi-finals. Well, speaking of semi-finals, I think it's time for us to finish here, Shadow, and send everyone over to Heroes Lounge. Any final thoughts from you? Because it's been great casting these quarterfinals, hasn't it?
Yes, we've had a chance to cast together for the first time in a while. It's been a busy season for both of us, I think, and I've enjoyed this. Hopefully, everyone that's watched and kept us company here in Twitch chat, hopefully you've enjoyed it too. And be on the lookout for more action, both in Heroes Lounge and by me and Karis. And now I think it's time to head over to the primary Heroes Lounge channel. Is it not, Karis?
It is indeed. So I've been Karis. This has been Shadowwriter, who you can find on twitch.tv/hotsjesus. Head over to the main Heroes Lounge channel now. We'll raid you over there, where you can see the first semi-final kicking off very soon with coverage by somebody I've forgotten. But You'll find out when you get there, I'm sure. Say hi to them from us. Thanks for watching. See you later. We are off. Good.
Very nice.